We are here to support an end to sanctions because the economy of Zimbabwe, it is suffering. You cannot have a country that is isolated from the rest of the world where they cannot do fair trade, exporting, and they are just importing everything that they find. They still need to make money. I hear that some are saying sanctions are affecting certain politicians. But you see, the whole country, I have members from the church from Zimbabwe. I went to see how they live. It is so expensive. No electricity, no petrol, water shortage, health. If you get an accident there's a lot of outbreaks. I believe that these sanctions, they are inhuman. They are punishing the innocents. Zimbabweans are flooding into South Africa, not by choice, but because, and all over the world, because the situation is not good. So I'm here also to pray that there will be unity among all political leaders, religious leaders, that they may find each other and put the people first. And also to encourage our people in South Africa in regard to say those who are coming from outside, they're taking jobs and businesses. Let us find ways of trade. South Africans can trade in Zimbabwe, have partnerships. Zimbabweans can have trade, exchange in South Africa, because all nations, they are free. The whites, the Chinese, they are not foreigners, but black people, Africans, are foreigners in Africa. So we want the unity and the killings, from both sides. That's why we even intervened when people were killed in Katlehong, not far from our church. We had to get involved. It was dangerous, facing people with guns, with pangas, with all that. I was graced that people listened. But we need to continue, not wait for it to start again, because we hear on the 2nd that there's going to be something on the tracks and all that. We need to be working together and say, President of South Africa, President of Zimbabwe, how can you at the top can bring an end to this suffering of the people of Zimbabwe? That's it.
Okay. What's your take on there's individuals or civil rights movement guys who are abducted by the current government in Zimbabwe? And some people are saying that America will not heed to that call if those human rights violations are not heeded to. What's your take on that as a clergyman?
Look, all human rights, when the talk of sanctions abolished, it will never work if we say we don't want to talk or they must remain the way they are because there are human rights violations. Let there be a discussion to say whoever is in power, whoever is ruling, the conditions for sanctions to be moved is 1, 2, 3. And then whoever is standing and refusing that must be held accountable. The country cannot suffer because of me, because of one person. So whoever is voted in to bring change in Zimbabwe. So I think the human rights issues and the laws that are changing now and then, those things, they must stop because they scare investors. How to invest in a country where tomorrow there can be laws that rip you off everything. So all those things, let the United Nations come on board and say, these are the issues, I'm telling you. And then the SADC can put pressure as well and say, all right, we agree. And I heard the president of Zimbabwe saying they've done away with that. But we don't know because we don't live in Zimbabwe. So that's where we say, let these things be abolished, but let all the parties come and say, these things still exist. Let them be removed. And then we do away with them. But we can't just sit because people need to make a living in their own country and cross freely to other countries and make business. And remember, Zimbabwe is very rich. It's not a poor country. Zimbabweans are not. It's just the laws that are and these sanctions. So if the current regime says they have removed the laws, then let us go and invest in Zimbabwe and check if those things are happening. If they are not happening, then let there be to say, you say you have moved them, but they are still there. And then whoever is a problem, deal with the problem. Don't punish everybody.